أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله نستغفر الله نسألك الجنة ونعوذ بك من النار أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله نستغفر الله نسألك الجنة ونعوذ بك من النار الله يحب العفو فاعف عنا اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا يا كريم أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله نستغفر الله نسألك الجنة ونعوذ بك من النار أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله نستغفر الله نسألك الجنة ونعوذ بك من النار أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله نستغفر الله نسألك الجنة ونعوذ بك من النار اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا يا كريم أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله نستغفر الله نسألك الجنة ونعوذ بك من النار أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله نستغفر الله نسألك الجنة ونعوذ بك من النار أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله نستغفر الله نسألك الجنة ونعوذ بك من النار اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا يا كريم أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله نستغفر الله نسألك الجنة ونعوذ بك من النار أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله نستغفر الله نسألك الجنة ونعوذ بك من النار أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله نستغفر الله نسألك الجنة ونعوذ بك من النار اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا يا كريم أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله نستغفر الله نسألك الجنة ونعوذ بك من النار أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله نستغفر الله نسألك الجنة ونعوذ بك من النار أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله نستغفر الله نسألك الجنة ونعوذ بك من النار اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا
الله الحداد رحمه الله تعالى ونفع بعلومنا وبكم مسائل الصالحين في الدارين آمين. Translated as a Consuls of Religion, chapter on Zakah. It has been transmitted that every wealth, the zakah of which had been withheld, shall take the form of a great serpent on the day of Qiyamah, shall be wrapped around the culprit's neck. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, they shall have that which they had avariciously withheld wrapped around their necks on the day of rising. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, each possessor of gold or silver who does not pay out its due shall have them on the day of Qiyamah made into leaves. We shall be heated in the fire of Jahannam. Then his forehead, flank, and back shall be burnt with them. Whenever the leaves grow cold, it shall all be repeated on a day the length of which is 50,000 years. He also stated in a hadith that he who owns cattle but does not pay the zakat due on it, they will come on the day of Qiyamah more numerous than they had ever been, to trample him underneath their hooves, bite him with their teeth, and stab him with their horns. It is part of the good manners of paying zakat to do it willingly, with pleasure, feeling good about it, grateful to those who deserve to receive it, never acting as if it were indebted to you. To give away one's zakah while seeming to reproach the recipient for taking it annuls its rewards. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, O believers, render not your charity now by reproach and injury. He who pays zakah should never be averse to doing so. Let him be aware of this, for it is the attribute of the hypocrites. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, they never come to the ritual prayer but indolently, and they never spend in charity but reluctantly. In this verse, meaning zakah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala indicates that the hypocrite may indeed pray, but only lazily, and may pay his zakah but reluctantly. He whose behavior resembles that of certain people is one of them. It is part of the good manners of paying zakat to do so from the best of one's possessions. This is the most praiseworthy manner of doing so. The obligatory manner is to make what is to be given away of average quality as compared to one's own possessions. To make it of the lowest quality is forbidden, unless all possessions are of the same quality. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, seek not the worst amongst it to spend. It is a duty upon he who pays zakah not to give it away according to his whims, but according to the dictates of the book of the Quran and Sunnah. To distribute it according to one's whims means to give all or part of it those who, although deserving, are engaged in rendering one's worldly service in one way or the other. Should a person give another because his to distribute it according to one's whims means to give all or part of it to those who, although deserving, are engaged in rendering one worldly service in one way or another. Should a person give another because he serves, visits, or shows respect to him, he will be acting improperly, and his zakah may even be rejected by Allah, even though he who receives it is deserving. There is no harm if the deserving person is given the zakah strictly for being deserving, without any real concern for whether he is known to the giver, likely to be of any use to him, or even happens to render some service. We are drawing attention to this because some wealthy people are unconcerned with proper conduct in this matter and incapable of behaving with discernment. Problems arise when a wealthy man gives a poor one sum of his zakah, but makes it seem like an ordinary donation, a gift, or something similar. The same applies should he give it to some of his needy relatives, such as his parents or children, whose expenses already are his obligatory responsibility. As for giving it to relatives of whom he is not legally responsible, it is not only permissible, but preferable, because they are his kin and may be harboring expectations to receive something from him. As for Zakatul Fitr, it is due every Ramadan.
So, Al-Imam al-Hadad, after speaking about the consequences of a person that withholds his sadaqah and does not want to pay, and the fact that we mentioned the person that doesn't make salah will be with Haman and with Fir'aun. The person who doesn't pay his zakah will be with Qarun on the day of Qiyamah, from amongst the lowest pits of Jahannam. Ya Rabbi Sallim, Ya Allah save us. And the reason for this is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Inna Qaruna kana min qawmi Musa. Qarun is from among the people of Musa. He was from the followers of Nabi Musa. But then he started becoming very rich. And he became so rich that he turned against Nabi Musa. His wealth went made him rebellious. فَبَغَى عَلَيْهِمْ. Allah Ta'ala speaks about the nature of his wealth. He says, وَآتَيْنَاهُ مِنَ الْكُنُوزِ مَا إِنَّ مَفَاتِحَهُ لَتَنُوءُ بِالْعُصْبَةِ أُولِي الْقُوَّةِ. Right? And we gave him such wealth that his key to his doors would be carried by a group of men that are extremely strong. Strong men, just one key to his door, with a few men who have to carry the key to his door. In Qadr, when his people saw this wealth, when those were his community members, they told him not to tafrah. Don't be proud. Inna Allah la yuhibbul farih. Allah does not love those who are proud about themselves. So he told him, وَابْتَغِ فِيمَا أَعْدَاكَ اللَّهُ الدَّارَ الْآخِرَةَ وَلَا تَنْسَ نَصِيبَكَ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا. And whatever Allah has given you, seek through it the Dar al-Akhirah, the hereafter. Use it as a stepping stone to reach the Akhirah, to bring the Jannah closer to you in reach. Then it's why تنسى نصيبك من الدنيا. And don't forget, it doesn't mean you must neglect completely your share of this dunya. Enjoy yourself. Buy what you feel you want to buy. Spend what Allah has given you in Allah Ta'ala's path on yourself, on your family, and charity. It's not saying that give everything away. So ولا تنسى نصيبك من الدنيا. It doesn't mean you must completely neglect your share. وأحسن كما أحسن الله إليك. But the key is, be kind to people as Allah was kind to you. Be good to people as Allah was good to you. Alright? And when you are good to people, the more you give to people, the more Allah gives you. And that's why for every rand that you spend, there's an angel. There's an angel. He says, Allahumma, oh Allah, اعطي كل منفق خلفا اللهم أعطي كل ممسك تلفا. Oh Allah, grant every person who spends, grant him a replenishment of what he spends. Make it up to him, Ya Allah. Let him never lose what he spent in your path. And in return, oh Allah, anyone who wants to withhold, let his money go to ruins. Imagine the malaikas making dua to Allah. Oh Allah, what this guy does not want to spend, let him not benefit from it. Let that money go, let that money melt in his hands. Let that money be destroyed. So what did he say? What did he say? What is his response? Allah says, إِنَّمَا قَالَ إِنَّمَا أُوتِيتُهُ عَلَىٰ عِلْمٍ عِنْدِي. See the kibr? See the kibr? He says, I acquired this wealth because of my knowledge. Because of my knowledge. Who gave him the knowledge? Allah says, أَوَلَمْ يَعْلَمْ أَنَّ اللَّهَ قَدْ أَهْلَكَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِ مِنَ الْقُرُونِ مَنْ هُوَ أَشَدُّ مِنْهُ قُوَّةً وَأَكْثَرُ جَمْعًا وَلَا يَسْأَلُ عَنْ ذُنُوبِهِمْ مُجْرِمُونَ. Does he not know that Allah had destroyed previous nations that came before him, who were much more stronger than him, and had much more wealth than they had amassed than him? So one day, Allah Ta'ala describes this. Now what happens? فَخَرَجَ عَلَى قَوْمِهِ فِي زِينَتِهِ. He walks out, comes out of his palace now. He's walking down the قارون أنا قارون. He walks down. So the people, there's two types of people. And here's the benefit of ilmiya. Two types of people. قال الذين يريدون الحياة الدنيا. Those who want the dunya, they looked at him and said, يا ليت لنا مثل ما أوتي قارون. I wish I had what Qarun had. Oh, Qarun, إنه لذو حظ عظيم. I said, Qarun, oh, Qarun is a very fortunate man. He is a very lucky man. Now they're discussing Qarun's wealth now. The people of knowledge, they're watching and they see this. They say, قال الذين أوتوا العلم ويلكم, destruction upon you, woe unto you. ثواب الله خير. Allah's reward is greater. Allah's reward for you being obedient. One fast, one salah, Quran, that one salah that you make, khair, whatever that follow is. Allah khair. Khair liman amana wa amila salih. The one who believes in, does righteously, وَلَا يُلَقَّاهُ, but the only one who will be guided to that is إِلَّا الصَّابِرُونَ. Those who have sabr. Those who have sabr for the ibadah. Those who have sabr on the temptation of the dunya, and those who have sabr to meet Allah on the day of Qiyamah. While they are busy not discussing this, the people of knowledge, Allah Ta'ala granted him the inner sight of the realities of this world. Don't be destroyed, don't be fooled, don't be distracted, don't be deceived and lured by this. They say, no, dunya. Allah gives dunya. Dunya has never ever, since Allah created it, there's never been a sign of Allah's love to a person. Understand that. So don't look at a person that has dunya and think Allah loves him. No. Dunya, wealth, has never been youngsters. Many of you are newly in the working environment. Many of you are yet to start families, and some have recently started families. Understand and make your family understand this, your wives, make your children understand this, that dunya has never been a yardstick to measure the love of Allah for us. Dunya has been two things. It has been either a sign that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is merely giving so the person can give more, if it's a pious person, or if it's a disbeliever or a disobedient person, it is a lament, and it's a trap for Allah that He uses to give him more and more and more, so until he sings and sings and sings, and Allah takes him away softly. Why? Because he does good in this world. He gives charity, he does this, he does that. So now you can't come to the Qiyamah and say, Ya Allah, I did all this good, but it's for me. And he said, no, but I've advanced all of the good to you in this world. وَيَوْمَ يَعْرَضُ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا عَلَى النَّارِ أَذْهَبْتُمْ طَيِّبَاتِكُمْ فِي حَيَاتِكُمُ الدُّنْيَا وَاسْتَمْتَعْتُمْ بِهَا. On the day of Qiyamah, when the fire will be presented to the disbelievers, then Allah Ta'ala will tell them, all your goodness of the world, of the dunya, you've already taken. You had it in the dunya, you had the niceness, you had the enjoyment, and you enjoyed it to its fullest. So today, وَمَا لَهُمْ فِي الْآخِرَةِ مِنْ نَصِيبٍ. There's no shade, there's no luck for them on the day. So when Allah Ta'ala advances and He gives and He gives and He gives, don't think that Allah Ta'ala lacks us. In fact,
the Prophet ﷺ says, إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُعْطِي الدِّينَ الدُّنْيَا لِمَنْ يُحِبْ وَلِمَنْ لَا يُحِبْ. Allah gives dunya to whom He wills, whom He loves, and whom He doesn't. شوف يعني, look at the most wealthiest of people in this dunya today, and most of them are not Muslim. There was a time I remember, and I feel so old now, but I'm not really old now. But I remember there was a time
people
people
say the
said
millions. Now there's not even millionaires. Now speaking about them. Not even multi. Like multi was maybe like 10 years ago. And now it's billionaire now. So a guy was a millionaire now, it's like, what's okay? and that's how the like. So look at the list of the billionaires now, and you see many of them are Islam Muslim. And some of those who are Muslim doesn't mean that they are the awliya of Allah. How many awliya are on that list? We don't judge people. The a'mal, the action speaks. How many of the great saints of Allah, let's say, how many ulama you see on that list of the billionaires? I haven't seen them at time. So why I'm saying this is that the Prophet ﷺ, he told us that the wealth is not a sign of the love of Allah mistake. And they say that had it been that was the case, then Rasulullah would have been the wealthiest of people. Right, Tom? Because who was the most beloved to Allah? But why was he amongst the most impoverished of Allah's creation? Physically, like from his means, otherwise he was not impoverished. And when he had the opportunity and received, he gave it all away. To a point where he said, Yeah, Aisha, we're not going to state with how much is left in my home. I cannot meet this yet. But a few silver coins, tasaddaqi bihim. Give it away. I don't want to meet Allah and there's a single cent in the house of Muhammad. Today, what did you do? Ja, hoe gaat ons leven morgen? Sakaraat to know. But he said he was, but he's 13 and he was not thinking, what is my wife, how is she going to love me? Or the example of the contemporary family, Muslim family, the husband goes out to work and the wife tells him, here's the list of groceries. Here's the list. Make sure you bring everything on the list. Don't come home if you don't have these things. Yeah, but I don't eat, just bring it. Come on. How much mean your children eat? Versus the Sahaba, Ridwanullahi ta'ala alayhim. When the husband used to go out every morning when he used to go out to work, the Salihin, every morning when he used to go out to work, they should stop him at the door. They should say, Ittaqillaha fi fear Allah with regards to us. Fear Allah. Just to hang on his top. And fear Allah with regards to us. فَإِنَّا نَصْبِرُ عَلَى جُوعِ الدُّنْيَا وَلَا نَصْبِرُ عَلَى عَذَابِ الْآخِرَةِ. We have sabr, we can persevere the hunger of this world, but we cannot persevere the punishment of Allah on the day of Qiyamah. If you're going to bring something, اتَّقِ اللَّهِ وَلَا تُطْعِمْنَا مِنْ حَرَامٍ. Don't feed us on haram. But if you bring past this doorstep, make sure it is halal, because I don't know it is halal or haram. I'm acting based on the fact that you will only feed us with halal. So fear Allah and just feed us with that which is halal. So he leaves and he walks down the road, and the people are amazed, and the people of knowledge, they say, no, don't be deceived. فَخَسَفْنَا بِهِ وَبِدَارِ. The earth opens up. Everything, him and his palace, and everything that he possessed, it fell in. Earth closed. وَمَا كَانَ لَهُ مِنْ فِئَةٍ يَنْصُرُونَهُ مِنْ دُونِ اللَّهِ وَمَا كَانَ مِنَ الْمُنتَصِرِينَ. There was no one that was able to come to his aid and to his assistance. No armies, no wealth, nothing could save him. So what happened? وَأَصْبَحَ الَّذِينَ تَمَنُّوا مَكَانَهُ بِالْأَمْسِ. Those who yesterday they were admiring him, they say, وَيْكَأَنَّ اللَّهَ يَبْسُطُ رِزْقَهُ لِمَن يَشَاءُ وَيَقْدِرُ. Allah Ta'ala, He gives whom He wishes sustenance and whom He decrees for. لَوْلَا أَن مَنَّ اللَّهُ عَلَيْنَا. Had it not been that Allah favored us, we could have been Qarun and the earth could have swallowed us also in. وَيْكَأَنَّهُ لَا يُفْلِحُونَ كَافِرُونَ. وَيْكَأَنَّهُ لَا يُفْلِحُ الْكَافِرُونَ. The disbelievers will never be successful. Then Allah says, إِن تِلْكَ الدَّارُ الْآخِرَةِ. Such is the year after. Such is the abode of the Akhirah. What is the condition of the people of the Akhirah, Ya Allah? نَجْعَلُهَا لِلَّذِينَ لَا يُرِيدُونَ عُلُوًّا فِي الْأَرْضِ وَلَا فَسَادًا. We grant the vicegerency, we grant the Akhirah as a reward for the people who do not desire any fasad, any corruption on the face of this earth, nor do they desire to walk on the face of this earth in a boastful state. Ya Allah, who is the end result? Who is the end consequence? Who is the end reward? Who is it? وَالْعَاقِبَةُ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. And the end abode is for muttaqeen. Do you see in the verse anything? وَالْعَاقِبَةُ لِلْأَغْنِيَاءِ, for the wealthy? وَالْعَاقِبَةُ لِلْمُفْسِدِينَ, for the corrupt? وَالْعَاقِبَةُ لِلْكَافِرِينَ. العاقبة لأصحاب الأموال, أصحاب التجارات, the people that have money, businesses. والعاقبة للمتقين. That's the only criteria. And that's why Imam Hadad, when he started his book with the chapter of taqwa. Because from taqwa, everything stems. Without taqwa, it's like a tree, it's uprooted from the ground, and it is laying there. No taqwa. There's no consequence, no result, there's no benefit to it. Taqwa is the roots. From taqwa, a beautiful tree can grow. May Allah grant us taqwa. Na'am. And then he speaks about some of the things. He says that on the day of Qiyamah, the people were gold and silver, and then the rands and the dollars and the pounds, and those people, whatever they did not fulfill in terms of the haqq of Allah in their wealth, those things will be turned into coals, into metal blocks, and it will be plucked onto their body. It will be plucked onto their bodies. Jibahuhum يوم يحمى عليها في نار جهنم. It will be heated up in the fire of Jahannam. فتكوى بها جباههم. The faces will be it will be placed on their foreheads. وجنوبهم, in the sides. وظهورهم. So in front, on the side, and the backs. They will be burned with those things. It will be like coals. It will be stuck on them. They're going to be cladded. They're going to be cladded with their wealth. But the wealth is not going to be heated gold, heated silver. They will be cladded with it. And Allah will tell them, هذا ما كنزتم لأنفسكم. This is what you have hoarded for yourselves. فذوقوا ما كنتم تكنزون. So taste the consequence of what you have hoarded. شوف أصحابي. And they said كلما بردت. Whenever it cools down, then it gets returned back again. Heated up again, and it gets black again. I think it goes right through the skin. It goes right through the meat, and it sits on the bone. It's stripped off again. It's put again on. By the time it gets put on the fire again, Allah Ta'ala regrows. Allah regrows that skin again. Fully grown. Then it gets black again on. It melts right until his bone. And it gets ripped off again and continues. Forever. So are those holding on to those hands, is it valuable? Holding on to those pounds and those dollars, is it worth it? Holding on to the gold and the silver, you still want to hold it? And you don't want to fulfill Allah's haqq of it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is equivalent to 50,000 years. Can you imagine how long that day is going to feel? And the day for a believer will one day on the Qiyamah is equivalent to 1,000 years, yeah? And in another narration 50,000. So Allah says, تعرج الملائكة والروح إليه في يوم كان مقداره 50,000 سنة. Or في يوم كان مقداره 1000 سنة مما تعدون. So two ayahs, the one ayah says 1,000, the other ayah says 50,000. They say it depends on the person himself. Some will experience such severe punishment that they will be at 50,000 years. You know, a person that is going through a very traumatic experience, you feel every second. Right? And like, for example, I don't know of another example, but let's say a food, you know, for the married guys, you know, when you're late, when your wife goes to labor, how does that feel for her? It feels every minute. It goes long, subhanAllah. Allah Ta'ala make it easy for our wives and our mothers. Giving birth is not the easy thing. Not the easiest. It's a very difficult thing. They say that it's almost as equal as the pain that the man experiences when he has a flu. Oh. Yeah, they say that's a study. It's a study that the man's flu is like the lady's birth, the prince. Anyway, our apologies to our female followers. وفيه أن صاحب الماشية التي لا يخرج زكاة تأتيه يوم القيامة أوفر ما كان. And the one who has cattle and has livestock and he did not give zakah of his livestock, on the day of Qiyamah, those livestock is going to come and they're going to be much more than they wanted to be. And they're going to be much more bigger. They're going to be full. And they're going to walk over him with the hooves. They're going to tramp on him. They're going to bite him. They're going to warn him. They're going to warn him. They're going to stab him with his horns on the day of Qiyamah. His own cattle. Subhanallah. Ya Rabbi Salli. Hadad continue now, he speaks about the etiquette of giving zakah. He says, and this is a very important paragraph. And he says, from the etiquette of the muzakki, the one who gives zakah, is that he must do it while he's tayyibun nafs. He's happy to give it. He feels contented. Right? Masrooran, he's happy, he's excited that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had granted him the ability to give zakah. And that Allah had granted him the ability to find someone that is zakatable, that is able to receive zakah. Imagine if you were obligated to give zakah, but there was no one that was able to receive your zakah. So the fact that Allah has given a person, has given you a person who can receive zakah, means Allah has allowed you to do an action that He can reward you for. If there's no one to receive zakah, then how would you get reward from giving zakah? If there's no one that can take your sadaqah, how would you get rewarded from giving sadaqah? At the same time, Sayyidina Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, there was so much justice and there was so much wealth because how he conducted his how he ran his state, that when the money came into the land, when the money came to the land, and the revenue and those things that the people were paying as protection and so on, jizya, etc. When it came in, so there was no place to store it in the Baytul Mal. The you can say the depository of the Muslim state was full. There's no space. So they came to him and said, we don't know where to store this money. It's full. There's no space. So he said, well, take it and then see whoever from amongst the ulama are in need and give them. So they went to all the ulama and they went one by one. And no one of them were in need of it. Firstly, because some of them weren't interested in wealth. And as for those who took it, they didn't need because they had enough. They again the money. The ulama had all sorted and others they don't want. So he said, okay, then look who amongst the believers are in need of money and give to them. So they went, looked for someone, people, there's no one that was worthy of receiving zakah. Sadaqah, no one wanted, so everyone had enough. Came back again and said, that is the recipients of zakah. And those who are recipients of zakah, all of them are taken care. So he said, look, and give it to those who are intending to get married. Those who want to get married, give it to them, maskabi, bruidskamer, alles. So they went and inquired who's getting married. And they gave him all. And some of them had already. And they came back and they still had a huge amount of wealth. So he said, we've given all of them, everyone that's getting married in this next year, they're all sorted for, others are sorted. So but we still have a lot, we don't know where to put it. So he said, go to the kuffar and see from the kuffar who's in need and give to them. It's the kuffar. Every one of them that was sorted, none of them needed anything. I don't think what to do now. We've sorted everyone out and it's still a lot. So he says, take that money and purchase grain with it. Purchase grain and spread it on the top of the mountains. Because I fear Allah Ta'ala will tell him in the day of Qiyamah, oh Umar, a bird became hungry while you were the ruler. A bird became hungry under your reign, under your kingdom and your rulership. That is the amount of adl that was in Islam. Sayyidina Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu ta'ala, he said, if a horse was to trip on the banks of the Euphrates River over a piece of rock, I would fear Allah is going to question on the day of Qiyamah, why didn't you straighten the path of that horse? Can you imagine that? The wara, the scrupulousness, the concern for the ummah. That why they say Umar ibn Khattab, when he became Khalifa, he didn't sleep at night. He couldn't sleep anymore. Every night he was a routine, he used to walk down the street. And that's why many of the stories here, Sayyidina Umar, were stories that happened while he was doing his rounds at night. The story of the lady of the monk. Yeah. the story of the maximum duration, the maximum period amount that a man must stay away from the lady in jihad. He was walking down the street and then he heard a lady sing a poem. This lady says, "I had not been out of my fear for Allah, then I would have caused this bed of mine to shake on both sides." Kinaya, as a metaphor for I would have committed fornication. He went and inquired, he says, "Where is this lady's husband?" Kharaja fi jihad. He's in the path of Allah, he's making jihad. How long? He's long, months. So he asked some of the females, said, "Ma akthar mudda tatarabbasu al-mar'a?" What is the longest period a lady can wait for her husband? They said 4 months. They said the maximum duration that a man should stay away from the lady is for 4 months. That's how you find the Jamaat. But they do few local also. So there you see the practice of genuine practice of the Salihin, the practice of the people who lead initiatives in our ummah, always has authority in the team. They don't just start thing. They always use the Quran and the Sunnah as the guidance for their tarateeb and their programs and so on. And so we thank Allah that Allah Ta'ala has allowed us to be able to find those who are recipients of zakah, recipients of sadaqah that can receive it from us. And one person, he walked down the street and so he said, I want to see, if there's a person who understands the level of dealing with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he goes and he has his pocket has money. So he comes past a person who's in need. He tells him, Khud, take this. La lak, not for you. It's not for me, it's for Muslim. So the person says, if it's not for me, Khud, la lak, take it, it's not for me. Liman? The person, yeah. Go past the next one. Say, Khud, take this. La lak, not for you. This person just takes it and he walks away. Someone's giving money, I'm not going to ask questions. Comes with another. His idea was that he's dealing with Allah. He said, take this, not for you, that's for Allah. And then he said, give it here, not from you, this is also from Allah. And this is how people witnessed the sadaqah and they gave it. They never gave it because the person, they knew that what they're giving is they're giving for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the etiquette is that he should give the best of his wealth. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Holy Quran, وَلَا تَيَمَّمُ الْخَبِيثَ مِنْهُ تُنْفِقُونَ. If you want to take the worst, you take the garment torn and now to give it sadaqah. Then you say, oh mashallah, I gave sadaqah of my whole wardrobe. Sadaqah of my whole wardrobe. What is your whole wardrobe? 10 years old. You give sadaqah of something and it is this worthwhile. Remember, you're giving it to who? No, not for you. You're giving to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So everyone who gives, you'll only see the consequences of his sadaqah on the day of Qiyamah. If you gave the best of your wealth, then Allah will give you the best of your wealth. If you gave the worst, and don't be now surprised or sad on the day of Qiyamah when you see you getting very small things for what you need, because you gave stuff that you didn't want anymore. You could practically throw. For you, it was equal. If someone took it, maybe throw it in the bin. I don't want it anymore. Throw it in the bin, no, give it to someone. But make sure Allah must reward us greatly for it. أن تنالوا البر حتى تنفقوا مما تحبون. That which you love, that you need to spend in the path of Allah. And that's how when the Salihin used to love things. The Sahaba, in the Muhajirin, what did they do when the Muhajirin arrived the Ansar? He said, Shuf, here's my one wife, here's my other wife, here's my money, and here's a position. You choose one, whatever one you choose, I'm going to talk first. You take half of my wealth, and I take that. And what you take is more beloved to me than what you leave behind. Dunya was not in your heart. The dunya was not in. The dunya was in. Like Habib Ali Jufri, he says the dunya was in your hand. And there's a big difference between a person with the dunya is in his hand and the dunya is in his heart. If the dunya is in your hand, what happens? All you have to do is just open your hand and drop it. But if it's in your heart, how difficult is it to take it out? With pain, it's suffering, and sleepless nights, and stress and anxiety, because it's in your heart. Don't make the dunya. Your heart is for none other than Allah. And the dunya must be out of it. If the dunya is in your heart, then there's no place for Allah. Two things that cannot be in the heart of one person: the love for dunya, the love for Allah. If the love for dunya enters, the love for Allah exits. And if the love for Allah enters, the love for dunya. ومن الواجب على مخرج الزكاة, the one who gives zakah, لا يفرطها على مقتضى هوى نفسه. You mustn't give it. Someone we can receive a return from. Allahu Akbar. ومن المشكل a question. What are your thoughts with regards to giving people that ask for money? This is a very, contentious subject. Scholars have differed with regards to it. I've spoken to some senior scholars in our community, like Mu'adh Ali. I was once at a nikah with Ali Gauda. This topic came up and they had the views with regards to it. What's your thoughts with regards to it?
What's the person?
Say the person.
Take on the street.
Take on the street. Drag at the robot.
Yeah, we were sitting yesterday in the car. I know Malam Ali said a couple of many years ago. He said that if you can maybe give him, say, someone comes to the door and asks for money, and then there's an opportunity maybe like just pick up some leaves in front of the house, and then
Let them do work.
Yeah. But then we were saying yesterday at the robot, so the guy asked. So the guys were like not questioning, but like wondering what is the ahwal of this person. So I was just saying that this is an opportunity, man. Like, once the money gets given off, then that action is between me and Allah. Whatever that man does with the money is between him and Allah.
I think yesterday's discussion was more on the amount. To give large amounts to somebody you can see has the habit. Are you enfeebling the person?
But I can't see someone else. I don't have that ability. I was
Look, my analysis of the situation is the person must always try and find the most worthiest recipient for his money. It's easy to give anybody, but to go and search people that are worthy recipients, that's always a more difficult task. And that's why I see most people that this, and I'm saying this with great respect for all our organization. They're filling a very important gap within ourselves. But it's easy just to give to someone. Easy to give to other givers. That's it. It's a cash, but it's off my neck. It's off your neck. But to find that person that is worthy of it, it's generally more difficult. Because you have to inquire, you have to search, you have to make, and that searching in the form of ibadah. I'm not saying don't give. You can split it. But try and let, even your zakat, if it's let it be some sort of investigation. And ya habada, if it's a scholar, person of ilm, or it's a person of piety, even though if it's a person from the family of the Prophet ﷺ, even though the family of the Prophet ﷺ should not be receiving zakat. But Al-Habib Ahmad bin Hassan Attash in his book Tadkir al-Nas, they asked, like, can the family of Rasulullah receive zakat? They said in these days, yes. Because the people are fulfilling the haqqin with regards to the Rasulullah's family. So whether they ask, whether they don't ask, we should give them sadaqah and zakat. So we should. Like another example. You want to say something?
What would you like be? Like, what would you be looking for in the person?
Well, the person, the neediness. It depends. With sadaqah, it's obviously more easy. With zakat, there's 8 categories that you have to look at. The person falls in 8 categories. But what I mean is, the more pious the person is, the greater the reward for your sadaqah. Because you are enabling or you're giving someone who is in the service of Allah's deen. So a person, the Prophet says, "Man jahaza ghaziyan fi sabilillah faqad ghaza." A person who prepares someone to fight in the path of Allah, a ghazi, to fight in Allah's path, is like he himself went in Allah's path to go fight. So a person who enables and assists a student of deen or a scholar to fulfill his work of teaching and doing, then it is as if he is also teaching, or as if he is also studying the deen, based on that qiyas, that analogy. Otherwise, even for the normal person, it's easy. There's a lot of people that you can give the zakat. So it will be good to try and do some tahari and some bahth. And it is khayr. Generally we say, like, students of deen, if a person finds a student of deen in need and you are a means of assisting him to study the deen, for as long as he's studying the deen of Allah and he's in the path of Allah, it's like you are in the path of Allah. The person, man kharaja fi talab al-ilm, the one who goes out seeking knowledge, فهو في سبيل الله حتى يرجع. He's in the path of Allah until he returns. So the one who assists the person to study the deen of Allah, it's like he's also in the path of Allah until that person returns. And then when he returns and he conveys the message, and now becomes maybe a scholar or teacher or an imam, for as long as he is educating people and teaching and being in the service of the deen, you are also getting the benefit of it. Because it was through your sadaqah that he was able to study the deen of Allah. Yeah, the deen preference, and then beyond, then after that, any knowledge that is a means of benefit to the woman, like a doctor, person who assists them, like doctor afterwards. Doctor slightly different because doctor they get remuneration and they get paid quite generous. But let's say now a doctor, he does a service to the community without charging. Then that person gets that money. Or he charges maybe a reasonable amount, lower than the normal tariff, because he sees this as also giving back to the community. Allah doesn't do injustice to any of his creation. Allah is al-Adil. So what we're saying is that so finding a worthy recipient, so doing your investigation, and I'm not saying don't give to the organizations by all means, but also take a portion of it and make some effort in looking and finding those who are worthy. And then also remember that Allah says, وَأَمَّا السَّائِلَ فَلَا تَنْهَرْ. A sa'i is a person who asks. The person who's a sa'i, don't turn the person off. And even if you give him something small, if you feel that he mustn't get money, give him a piece of bread. Give him something. If you say he's a drug addict, give him something. Don't turn the person who comes asking away. Nabi Isa alayhi salam used to say, a person who turns away, someone who asks, the malaika don't come visit his house for 7 days. Nabi Isa alayhi salam. For 7 days the malaika don't visit him if you turn away a person who asks. And you know the story of that person? that came and he asked, and then the wife and the man was sitting, they were eating, and then then the person came and knocked on the door, and they were eating around the table, and then the person came and so he said, "Is there anything to eat?" So the person said, "Yeah, nothing to eat, get out." And then years went past. So the wife said, "Can I just give him a piece of bread?" I said, "No, you have to get away, got nothing for him." So years went past, and they had troubles in their marriage. The guy lost his job, got divorced, and they went their own way. The lady remarried again. The lady remarried, you know the story? The lady remarried again. After she remarried, she was sitting again with her second husband, and they were eating, and someone came on the door. And someone said, "Is there anything to eat?" The lady opened up the door, and she came and said, there's someone asking for something to eat. So they said, it's not easy to, I know what it is to struggle. Give this person, give him this. So when she gave it to the person, she saw the person, she came and she was crying. And so the husband said, "Why are you crying?" So she told him that, this person that was by the door now was actually my first husband. And then he told her, "And I'm the person that was the door the first time." So life changes. الأيام دول يعني it changes ويوم لك ويوم عليك. So make sure you make the best of the day that Allah has given you. And don't deprive people from what Allah has given you. Because the wealth does not belong to you. The wealth belongs to Allah. The earth belongs to Allah. Everything belongs to Allah. We belong to Allah.
Yeah, I have a question on that. So there's a guy that comes to us every night, and he's always around. Every single night he comes for food. So I give him food, but is that wrong? Knowing that I can see he's around, and you can smell his around. Am I allowed to give him?
The Prophet ﷺ said, "Inna fi kulli kabidin ratibatin ajr." In every liver that you wet, in it is a reward. And that's for animals. Imagine a lady entered Jannah because she fed a dog. She gave a dog something to drink. It's a dog. And you tell me that the person who's drunk is worse than the dog? They say a man now, he walks and he slips and he falls in a hole. And he hears the adhan and he says, "Ya Allah, I make tawbah now."
And I actually spoke to him, like, he was telling me a story. Yeah, he's a...
So whenever you give, remember it is the creation is Allah's creation. Allah Ta'ala could have placed you in that situation. Allah could have placed me in that situation. And Allah is too generous not to reward you when you do things for His sake. Yes, don't enable. If you know the person is not right, then you give the person 100 rand, you know he's going to. But give for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Don't deprive. Habib al-Jifri used to say, if you think the person is not worthy of your sadaqah, then you will be worthy of giving to him. If you think he's not worthy, then you be the one that is worthy. He's not worthy of it, but you are the one that needs to be worthy for the reward of Allah. And these obviously, this is not something that is consensus. Scholars have different ijtihadat with regard to this. Some will say, "No, I don't need evil. No, I don't right." And others will say, give for them. And generally the people of Tasawwuf would incline more towards what is best for the nafs. And to give is generally better for them than withholding.
I think the one question we had earlier.
And then there's the story of Rabi'a al-Basriya. And the story of تفضل هذا 6 million تقريبا. So there's a story of Rabi'a al-Basriya. A thief comes into a house. She was a waliya. She was a arifa, a know of Allah. So a thief comes to the house, she comes to steal. But he doesn't really lie, she doesn't have anything. He comes and he steals. And he finds nothing. And he finds nothing in the house. So there's nothing. He said, Ya Amat Allah, give me a. So she says, whatever you see, whatever you can find, take it. He said, but you got nothing. He said, but I can't help this. He said, but I can make a dua for you. So the thief, she said, yes, please. I don't need your du'as, and I want money. I can just have some. So she went to answer, she said, Ya Allah. He came to my room. This thief, he came to my room. And he couldn't find anything. Oh, Allah, I'm putting him at your door. So you give him everything. Immediately when she made a dua, Allah Ta'ala put the guidance in his mouth. He changed his life. He told him, go and take wudu. And he took wudu. وَأَسْلَمَ وَحَسَنَ إِسْلَامُهُ. And then he became another than the words of Allah. Right? So they say even if you don't have anything really to give him, at least make a dua. Please share good words. Not when you come to Ruba and you feel now you don't want to give the person money. Say, Allah Ta'ala grant you khair and barakah. May Allah guide you. May Allah keep you away from evil. May Allah grant you. Make a good dua for the person. I said, hey, just if you don't want to give money, at least you can nice dua. He don't realize the value of the dua. And he's thinking, pang is the right pang. But at least you know that dua may benefit him later on. May benefit him in the akhirah. And it's most certainly a benefit for you. قول معروف ومغفرة خير من صدقة يتبعها أذى. A person who shares a good word, a person who overlooks, it is better than a person who gives charity and he causes harm in giving charity. As person, ik het voor je gegeven? No, ik het voor je laatst, maar ik heb deze dan gegeven. Nou, hoeveel keer heb ik gegeven? Nou, elke keer dat je laat nou lessen. So just what Allah forgive us also coming. It's late already, man. The last few minutes of Ramadan. Let's discuss Zakat al-Fitr. Continue. For those who wish to leave, they may leave, inshallah, if they have other commitments. The next chapter is Zakat al-Fitr, which is a very relevant discussion.
As for Zakat al-Fitr, it is due every Ramadan and is obligatory upon every Muslim who is able to afford it, whether he is an adult or a child, a free man or a slave. He who is responsible for others is obliged to pay the Zakat al-Fitr, which is 4 measures mud of the Prophet ﷺ's measures of dates, wheat, corn, barley, or any other kind constituting the staple diet used by the people. It is better for a person to give of the same kind of food that he himself consumes or of one of better quality. Zakat al-Fitr is subject to strict injunctions that ordinary Muslims are frequently unaware of, so that they end up not paying it in the mistaken assumption that they belong to the category of those unable to. Scholars, may Allah have mercy on them, have stated that if needs be, one should sell his possessions, everything that exceeds the provisions required for the Eve and the day of Eid, and the necessary as regards to clothes, shelter, and so on, to be able to pay one's zakat. There can be no stricter instructions than those. This is what the Sharia requires, so let every Muslim be aware of not paying out his zakat when able to. Know that when a just ruler demands that zakat be paid to him, then this becomes a duty. By obeying one would have fulfilled one's obligation. It then becomes the ruler's responsibility to distribute it. If the ruler is unjust and demands that zakat be paid to him, then one should comply to avoid sedition and strife. Should the ruler then distribute it to those designated by Allah as deserving, who are those he can locate that belong to the 8 kinds, then Allah shall reward him with an immense reward, and he will reward those who paid him their zakat. But if he distributes it to other than those designated in his saying, exalted is he, charity is only for the poor and the needy, for those who collect it, for those whose hearts need to be reconciled, for the ransom of slaves, for debtors, for the way of Allah, and for the travelers. This is an obligation ordained by Allah, and Allah is knowing, wise. He would be committing a grave sin and a monstrous injustice. He would be wronging the wealthy by placing their zakat where it does not belong, and the poor by not giving them that which Allah has decreed is their rightful share of the possessions of the wealthy. Allah has made zakat obligatory that it might be a purification for the wealthy and a help for the poor. He who uses it in any other than that commits a great falsehood and sin. When the unjust ruler gives the zakat to the undeserving, it is better and more cautious for those who have paid it and find in themselves the willingness to do so, to pay it again directly to deserving people. But this is by no means obligatory. If those who must pay the zakat are able to withhold it in whole or in part from the unjust ruler, they are permitted to do so on condition that no sedition ensues and no act of disobedience to Allah, such as manifest lying, a false oath, or anything similar. Also, they should make it their intention to save the ruler from the sin of misplacing the zakat, as well as to assist the poor in upholding their religious duties by giving them that which Allah has made rightfully theirs. Success comes from Allah.
So zakat al-fitr. زكاة الفطر تجب في كل شهر رمضان على كل كبير وصغير وحر وعبد من المسلمين القادرين عليها. ومن وجبت عليه النفقة لأحد وجبت عليه فطرته. The rule is that every person that is wajib, that you must nafaqa that person, it is essential that you must pay that person's zakat al-fitr. It is also known as zakatul abdan, zakatul badan. It is a zakat. It is not paid because of on account of your wealth, but it's paid on you as an individual. So you have 2 types of zakat. You have zakatul amwal or zakatul abdan. Zakat is paid in wealth, and that's because it's attached to your wealth. And he has zakat is paid on you. It's attached to you as a person. It's paid on the individual himself. The zakatul abdan is zakatul fitr. Zakat al-amwal is like your gold and your silver and your currencies and your livestock. That's zakat al-amwal. Zakat al-abdan is zakat al-fitr. That every person that is that witnesses the month, whether it's not, the requirement is not a baligh, you know. The requirement is صغير or kabir. You witness the month of Ramadan. You ولو جزء منه, you were alive after you بغروب شمس رمضان, you were alive when the sun set for the month of Ramadan, the last day of Ramadan, and the entrance of the month of Shawwal. The person who passes away during Ramadan, zakat al-fitr, he didn't witness Shawwal. The person who is born after the moon is sighted. They go to 3 Anchor Bay. They say, oh, the moon has been sighted. He calls his wife. The moon has been sighted. Oh, I'm going to labor now. Alas. No, zakat. He didn't witness the month of Ramadan. Because he didn't witness.
But the Sheikh's life is like from the time we do
بخروجه حيا حياة مستقرة. They must have a consistent life after he passed away. If in خرج and there's no taharruk, and there's no haya mustaqil, there's no stable signs of life, and it is a mayyit. So this person, that's why you have also an inheritance that yuqafu tarikatul mayyit for the person that is in, for the janeen that is in the womb until to determine whether the child is born, is a stillborn, if it's a stillborn, then it doesn't receive inheritance. When is it wajib to give zakat al-fitr? When is it wajib to give zakat al-fitr? The sunset of the night of the sunset of the last night of Ramadan becomes wajib. And you mustn't delay it beyond Eid Salah. It becomes waqt hurma. The sunnah, waqt al-fadila is the morning of Eid. Even though you can give it long before, then you can give it from the beginning of Ramadan, you can give zakat al-fitr. But the best time is that morning, so to make sure that people use it for the Eid. Is that?
Would that be considered waqf even in the now? Because in terms of people needing to prepare for that meal for the day. And
take away some. Every Muslim, على كل مسلم who is not hurri, is not a slave, that has sufficient for that, they don't speak about baligh here, so even a sahih who has sufficient يملك قوت يومه وليلته, the person who has the provisions of his day and his night. And that's why if you have enough for your day and night, you must pay zakat al-fitr. If you don't have enough for your day and night, but you have such assets that you do not require, it's not essential, you should sell some. If a person has 2 watches, one is a Rolex. Do you need a Rolex watch? Is what a Rolex essential? And right, so تجب عليه نفقته ونفقته تجب عليه زكاته وزكاة من تلزمه نفقته. He must give zakah, and zakah of the one who is not quite essential. من عبد, slave, وولد. What about the wife? زوجة. Do you have to pay zakah of زوجة?
yes. Responsibility. Yes. No. It depends. Depends.
What if the زوجة has sufficient wealth?
But she's not in your case.
What is it? Hey?
Yeah. What is it? You didn't hear.
She's rich and it's mustahab. They ask me. They ask me.
صاحب المختصر.
Yeah.
What is it?
If she's able to pay for herself, and she must pay, even if she isn't willing, must ask for her permission to pay on her behalf.
تلزمه نفقة زوجته أم
بعشرة زوجة فإن لا يجب لكن يستحب يختار واحد.
She's mustahab, like you said, but you still respond to that.
He's disagreeing with you. So we think you're not married and he's not.
So, same platform.
Is it different running for different madari?
I don't know the madhab. I know the madhab of the Hanafi. What is the Hanafi?
You must pay for it.
You must pay for.
I've been paying all the time, my wife's.
يستحب that he should pay it.
No.
But if he's mu'sir, if he can't, he doesn't have to pay. ولكن يستحب الإخراج. يستحب that he should pay. Nevertheless, أكثر منه. But if you can't, فلا. Pay it. What about paying the zakat for your son?
No?
You have to.
If he
What if your son is bali?
That's it.
Huh?
all the thing.
If he's bali,
It's owned by his wealthy. It's
owned by
his own.
Hmm?
He's a cat.
Better.
You shouldn't have a minimum amount.
no. If it's so basically, if the son is sufficient, is self-sufficient, then you don't have to pay. But now, what if the father pays it without informing the son, without getting permission? Okay. Like the father says, can you offer to
Must be constant.
تجزئه أم لا؟ لا يستفاد. You must get permission from the son.
Must consult.
You must get permission from the son.
What you,
Self-sufficient.
Self-sufficient.
what did you the son thinks your father's paying it all the time, but he's not? No, really. My parents got divorced, but there's like a 3-year gap where I'm watching all the still paying it for me. And I was like,
You must be quiet.
yeah, but my mom.
Oh, you mean you weren't
My
sure?
mom is, well, she speaks to my father, but not like a lot. So she's like, no, your daddy's paying it away. So,
Yeah, that's
and then one morning, I was another yakka and one week to my dad. My dad's like, no, I couldn't pay your feet off. So I had to find someone in the magic for me to do it on the morning.
Yeah, you should rather take precaution.
Yeah. But can you make a dollar with it?
Yeah, you should pay. That's a date. You must pay.
Mhm.
طيب, so in terms of the you mentioned the time, the conditions, the amount is one sa', one sa' is equivalent to 4 amdad. A sa' is approximately maybe like just under 3 kilos, approximately 2 point something, approximately, yeah, just under 3 kilos, approximately. For the 4 أمداد لمد المدينة, and from the staple food of the staple food of the country. And according to Shafi'is, you can't pay the value of it. According to Hanafis, you can pay the value. And that's why these days most people opt to pay the value. And they say that the value is more beneficial for the person that receives the zakat and giving him the staple. Even give rice, for example. Even giving rice. Even giving barley. What are you gonna do? We can't have rice. We need meat and we need this and that. And is meat part of the qut? It is not part of the qut of the balad unless there's no qut. Qut is a staple. Unless there's no staple and the staple in that country is meat. And if no other staple, then there's a weak code that says that you can use meat as a staple. But the default position is that the barley, flour, like the flour is processed, the rice, grains, akid. What do you translate akid? Dates. Nah. So I don't know these things. I can't get to the G. And there's different categories, there's different yeah, it's a dry kind of, like a white dry cheese.
Bitter cheese.
It's like in the Arab countries, but it's like something close to it. It's like a hard dry cheese, white dry.
Yeah.
So those who haven't paid the zakat al-fitr, or those who forgot, should make sure that you pay your zakat al-fitr as soon as possible.
Yes.
Figures for the person that is sick. That is actually paid. It's paid during you can pay it in advance, but it's paid per day for the person that is unable to.
2 in 1. 2 questions in 1.
You still get those things.
Can you pay your fitra to a family? It's not what grandma.
So we see that كل من تلزمه نفقة, to every person that it's your duty to do نفقة that person. You can't pay your zakat al-fitr to that person. The person that is not your duty to nafaqah that person, such a person can be the recipient of the zakat. That's a general rule. So you want to apply it, just remember that. Whoever I'm duty bound to look after, to nafaqah, I can't give my zakat al-fitr. Whoever it's not my duty to nafaqah, the sharia, I can give my zakat al-fitr. Otherwise, that is just it's an easier way to, so you can just apply it. And then he says, وبه جاءت الشريعة فليحذر المسلمين ترك الإخراج مع الإسلام. It says يباع من المتاع في زكاة الفطر ما زاد على قوت ليلة العيد ويومها. If you don't have, then but you have what is enough for you for the day and the night of Eid, then you must sell some of your provisions, some of what your mata', even your furniture, that is extra that you don't need, or some of your food. If you have extra food, sell it in order so you can pay you, or you can give your zakat. You know, in Tahrir, they still give they still practice the mu'tamad. They haven't taken the view of the Hanafis. They still practice the mu'tamad where they give the staple. So you come and you give the money, then you buy the staple, and they weigh it for you, and then you give that as your zakat al-fitr. It's like the Arab facilitates that zakat al-fitr process. And you buy it, and they weigh it for you. It's just, okay, this is your sa'. You give it sa', you deposit, you give it to someone else, and they take care of the distribution of it. They're very cautious in implementing that. It's so important. It's so important because sometimes, you know, chopping and changing can lead to what is known as talfiq of the mazhab. You know, choosing a little bit here and choosing a little bit there, but we don't really follow the proper ahkam of that. For example, if a person say he says he wants to follow the Shafi'i, the Hanafi madhab in terms of the wudu, the famous, but he doesn't comply with the conditions of the Hanafi in terms of making the wudu. He doesn't meet those requirements. Then, like for example, the mas of the wiping of the hair. Shafi'is, I think, have the least mas. Like they walau juz usha'aratin, even a part of a hair. Like the Hanafis, what? Quarter of it. And the Malikis are like the majority of it, because that is the meaning of the ba'di, like the majority part of the ba'diyah. الشافعي يصير بأقل البعض يعني ويحصل البعض ولو بجزء من شعرتين, even part of the knee. So now the person, he takes and just wipes few strands here and says, no, I'm following that. He took wudu now. He said, I'm going to now adopt the Hanafi madhab in terms of my wudu, but your wudu is not compliant in terms of the Hanafi madhab. Talfiq. first. It will be tawfiq between, not tawfiq. Make sure that you comply with the laws of the madhab if you want to. You want to adopt a certain opinion in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us that we are from those who are documented in this month from the generous ones. Not those who have shuh, who have nakedness and tight-fistedness and are stingy. Sayyidina Al-Imam Ali Zain al-Abidin, when he used to get a person that was in need, he used to say, Marhaban biman yahmil zadi ila al-akhirah. And someone used to ask him, he said, welcome to the one who's going to carry my zad, my provisions to the akhirah. Marhaban. He said, you actually taking my provisions to the akhirah. Allahu Akbar. صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم.